Stop getting mad at yourself for failing tests you didn't. T know existed. This is the silent setup. A manipulator doesn't want to be angry. They want to be justified in being angry. So they create a situation where your failure is inevitable, often by hiding the actual expectation. They set a trap, wait for you to step in it, and then they explode, pointing to your failure as proof that you are the problem, not their unreasonable demands. For example, they might say they don't care what you decide about dinner, but if you pick the wrong place, they spend the whole night sulking, only to later say, I knew you. Pick that you always prioritize your tastes over mine. The psychology here is simple. They avoid responsibility for their feelings by outsourcing the blame to your actions. You are constantly failing because you are expected to read their mind and conform to rules you haven't tooled. This creates constant anxiety and keeps you focused on pleasing them. Red flag phrases that confirm you were just tested. I knew you, do this. This proves you don't. Care. Or the most insidious, I was testing you. Defense move, refuse to participate. When they explode, ask calmly, what was the explicit expectation I violated? If they can, state it clearly, you interrupt the cycle by saying, I only respond to clear communication, not assumption. The manipulator uses the fake apology to look good while achieving absolutely nothing. They understand that society expects an apology, but they refuse to accept responsibility. Instead, they use apologies that shift the focus back onto your reaction, minimizing the harm they caused or adding conditions. Listen for the but or the if. For instance, I am sorry, but if you hadn't brought it up, I wouldn't have snapped. Or, I apologize if my tone upset you. That if means they doubt you were even upset. The problem isn't their action. The problem is your sensitivity. Why does this work? Because you prioritize the feeling of resolution over actual accountability. You hear the word sorry, and your brain relaxes, even though the manipulator has successfully trained you to believe the problem lies in your overreaction. You settle, and they get away clean. Red flag phrases. Sorry you feel that way. Sorry, but you. I am sorry you are so sensitive. Or the classic, we both made mistakes. Defense move. Reject it. A genuine apology has no conditions and focuses solely on their actions. If they hand you a non-apology, respond with, that isn't an apology. When you are ready to take responsibility for specific action, we can talk. End the conversation. Word salad is what happens when a manipulator knows they wrong but refuses to lose. Instead of admitting fault, they throw so much confusing, circular, and contradictory information at you that your brain overheats and shuts down. They are not trying to make sense. They are trying to exhaust you. They jump topics, contradict their own previous statements, use irrelevant details, or ramble for 10 minutes until you forget what the original argument was. They might say, look, we were talking about the missing keys, but the real issue is how you handled the rent payment last month, which reminds me of your mother's driving habits. So you see, it's not the keys at all. Their goal is not resolution, it's exhaustion. You give up the fight, not because they won, but because you need to conserve mental energy. When you finally say, fine, whatever, they count that as victory. Red flag phrases are less about the content and more about the structure. You are changing the subject that has nothing to do with this. Or the feeling that you are running in circles. Defense move, use the broken record technique. Do not engage with the noise. Repeat your core point clearly and simply, interrupting their rambling if necessary. Stop. We are talking about the keys. Do you have the keys? If they word salad again, repeat. We are only discussing the keys. Boundary testing is manipulation on a timer. They don't smash your boundary. They chip away at them so slowly, you only realize they're gone when the wall collapses. This starts with small, seemingly trivial violations. They show up 10 minutes late, then 30, then 2 hours. They borrow $5 and on. Pay it back, then 50. They use a critical tone once, then twice. Then constantly, they are watching for your reaction. Every time you let a small violation slide, they take it as permission to push harder next time. If you complain about the 30-minute delay, they hit you with, it is not a big deal. If you accept that excuse, the boundary moves. The psychology here is desensitization. If you can handle a small dose of poison, they increase the dosage until you completely compromised and unable to object to major violations. You stop trusting your own discomfort because they constantly tell you you are overreacting. Red flag phrases. It is not a big deal. Don't be so uptight. You are overreacting. And the classic dismissal. You need to relax. Defense move. Enforce boundaries immediately and proportionally, every single time. If they are 5 minutes late, acknowledge the violation. I value my time. If you are late again, I will leave. Do not negotiate the boundary. Just state the consequence. Mirroring is the fast track to false intimacy. A skilled manipulator doesn't spend time building trust. They fabricate it instantly by copying your entire personality, values, and interests. They become your instant soulmate. Early on, they, coincidentally, love the exact same niche music, have the exact same trauma history, and share the exact same obscure political views as you. They are essentially wearing your skin. This is a massive red flag because genuine connection takes time to develop. Instant connection is usually manufactured. Why does this work? Because humans crave validation. When someone reflects all the best parts of you back, it feels incredibly validating and intoxicating. This emotional high makes you drop your guard and ignore genuine inconsistencies or incompatibilities that pop up later. You ignore the red flags because, hey, we so alike. Red flag phrases. We so alike. I feel the same way. We soulmates, or the suspiciously intense early declaration. I've never met anyone who understands me like you do. Defense move. Slow things down. True connection survives. Scrutiny. If someone claims instant, deep compatibility, take a step back and observe their behavior around other people. Do they mirror everyone? Ask specific, tough questions that require genuine, independent thought. If their identity dissolves when yours is challenged, you've found a mirror, not a person. This leads us to the final lesson. Toxic positivity is the manipulation tactic that weaponizes optimism to silence legitimate distress. It is the emotional equivalent of telling someone who broke their leg to just focus on the good thing. The manipulator uses overly positive or spiritual language to invalidate your negative emotions, criticism, or justified anger. If you express sadness, they tell you to manifest a better outcome. If you express anger at being wronged, they say you need to find the light and forgive. The underlying goal is simple. If you are always focused on being happy, you will never hold them accountable for making you unhappy. For example, you bring up a serious issue, and they respond with, "It's all about perspective," you choosing to see the negative. Or, "Let us just focus on the blessings we have." The psychology is that it makes you feel guilty for having normal, appropriate human emotions. You suppress your feelings to conform to their happy facade, and they maintain control by ensuring no genuine conflict ever surfaces. Red flag phrases. Just try to be happy. You need to choose joy. It could be worse. Look on the bright side. Or, don't, bring that negative energy here. Defense move. Reclaim your right to feel. State clearly, my feelings are valid. This is not about choosing joy. This is about discussing a real problem. Refuse to be shamed out of having a legitimate emotional response. Recognize that true support acknowledges pain. It doesn't try to varnish it. Covert contracts are unspoken agreements the manipulator believes you made, but you had no idea it existed. It's like a secret terms of service agreement they wrote. And now they furious you violated Clause 4B. The manipulator performs an action, a favor, a gift, or kindness, but expects a specific, unstated return from you. They perform the favor not out of goodwill, but as an investment. When you fail to deliver on the unstated return, they flip the script and accuse you of being ungrateful or selfish. For example, they might spend all day helping you move, expecting that you will now owe them sexual favors or unquestioning loyalty for the next month. When you don't comply, they explode. After everything I did for you, this is how you repay me. The psychology here is debt creation without transparency. They use manufactured guilt to control future actions. You feel obligated because they did something nice, but the price they're recharging is astronomical and unfair. Red flag phrases. After everything I did for you, I wouldn't have done X if I knew you were going to do Y. Or, I thought we had an understanding. Defense move, refuse the guilt trip. If they bring up a past favor to justify current demands, simply state, I appreciate that favor, but that was a gift, not a transaction. I don't owe you anything for past kindness. Keep exchanges transparent. If a favor is offered, ask, what is the expectation of this favor? You now have the vocabulary. You know the moves. Knowledge is the only shield against these tactics, because manipulation thrives in confusion and silence. The goal of every manipulator is to make you doubt your perception, your memory, and your sanity. Your defense is simple. Pay ruthless attention to patterns. Stop accepting excuses and start recognizing behavior. If someone's actions consistently disrespect your boundaries, erode your confidence, or require you to perform emotional gymnastics just to maintain peace, that's not a flawed relationship. That's a toxic dynamic engineered for their control. Trust the repeating pattern over the occasional nice gesture. Protect your peace like it as your highest asset. Share this with one person who needs to recognize these patterns before it's too late. When was the last time you failed a test? You didn't. Tino, you were taking.